Hello everyone, and happy 30th anniversary for the Fire Emblem series. Although I suppose that was a few days ago, when I released my Fire Emblem Three Houses retrospective video. And boy is that a weird thing to say. My retrospective for the Fire Emblem series is done. But I figure there's no better way to end the series proper than with a full ranking of my whole thoughts on the series. Just keep in mind that these are my own opinions. The rankings you see before you are different than they were a year ago, and I can assure you they'll be different next year too. And in the case there are multiple versions of the game available, I'm just going to count them all as one game altogether. That's how I reviewed them, and that's how I'll rank them. Number 13. Genealogy of the Holy War. I want to make it clear that I don't actually hate Genealogy of the Holy War. In fact, I've actually liked the game immensely more since making my retrospective review for the game. That being said, if you were to put every game in the Fire Emblem series in front of me, this is probably the game I would want to play last. I like Fire Emblem games that are condensed, pick up and play experiences, and Genealogy is not that game. It's got an excellent story, probably the best narrative in the series still, but at the end of the day, it's a video game. And as a video game, it's the Fire Emblem I just happen to enjoy playing the least. Number 12. The Binding Blade. The fact that Binding Blade is so low on my list should be a showpiece for just how awesome the Fire Emblem series is. I definitely don't enjoy this game as much as I used to, but I still think it's a fine entry in the series. I just think by the end, the game gets a little too big for its britches. The late game maps are just so huge with a bombardment of enemy onslaughts just coming after you wyvern after wyvern. On the flip side though, it does sell the intensity of the war and just how brutal every battle gets once the march on enemy territory begins. It's a traditional Fire Emblem with not much that sets it apart, but also not much getting in the way of my enjoyment. Number 11. Thracia 776. I liked Thracia when I first played it, and it's a game I still hold a lot of respect for. But over time, my opinion on the game sank. After I finished this game and reflected on what I played, I began feeling exhausted just thinking about it. To its credit, that's exactly what the game is trying to go for. In my opinion, this is Kaga's pinnacle between crafting a game with expertly woven gameplay story integrations. Thracia also has the disadvantage of being the only Fire Emblem game I've played just once. Of course, I'm willing to play the game again, but give me another year. Maybe two. Number 10. Fates. Once again, I'm ranking Birthright, Conquest, and Revelation all together as one game, because that's how I experienced Fates, and that's how I reviewed it. And to be honest, they all just blend together in my brain as one game anyway. Let's just get this out of the way. Yes, the story sucks. And no, I don't really care. Like I said before, I play video games because they are games. Good stories on top of them are more just a bonus for me. And Fates is one of the best playing games in the series. My core issue is that it just tries to do too much. With 3 different campaigns, I almost feel like I can't play one without trying the others. And the map design can get extreme. Even Conquest isn't infallible, and has some challenges that almost expect a little too much from players. And maybe I'm just patient, but most of the gimmicks of Revelation never bothered me anyway. Still, this is a game I would very happily replay, but maybe I'll just skip the story next time. Number 9. Shadow Dragon. For a first attempt, this game really did a great job at pulling the series together. Whether it's the original game, the remake, or the other remake, it's an enjoyable game to play. Honestly, there's not really a lot I have to say about this game. It's the first one, you really can't hate on it. It's a classic in every sense of the word. Simple, revolutionary, and provided a map for future titles to learn where to go from where it left off. Without this humble project, there would be no Fire Emblem. Number 8. Mystery of the Emblem. This game is everything its predecessor was, just a little better. The story is a little better. The game pacing is a little better. The content on offer is a little better. The map design is a little worse. I mean, seriously, have you seen Chapter 3? Like, what is this? This is just stupid. It's certainly not the most exciting entry in the series, but a fun one to play. It's a shame that this game never got localized in any form. I think it would be fondly remembered as a classic. Number 7. Radiant Dawn. Radiant Dawn is an example of redemption arcs for Krista Fields. What was at one point far and away my most hated game in the series has quickly risen the ranks. The sense of scale in Radiant Dawn is truly unmatched, even by the games that came afterward. A story that switches between multiple armies is really engaging, even if it wasn't handled the best. I think this is one of those games where it's just better the more you know about it. Your willingness to shift people around and adapt to change will influence how much fun you have playing this game. Number 6. Three Houses. The latest game in the series was definitely hard to pin down where it belonged. I'd be lying if I said this game didn't fall under expectations. I genuinely thought that Three Houses had the potential to be my favorite Fire Emblem game, so to ultimately see it not make the top 3 or even the top 5 was rather disappointing. Though it would not have made it this high on the list if I didn't appreciate what it was trying to do. The fact that Fire Emblem was willing to go in an all-new direction for the first time since the Super Famicom was incredibly impressive. I think the more you play this game, the more you will come to appreciate it. But similar to my criticism of Fates, Three Houses can feel bloated. But hey, at least the game lets you skip past most of the busy work. It's also incredibly easy to break, with new strategies and tech constantly discovered to trivialize it further. Even still, for every step it took back, it also took a step forward, showing that Intelligent Systems is learning and making genuine efforts to improve the series. Number 5. The Sacred Stones. The Game Boy Advance era for Fire Emblem was undeniably the most traditionalist time for the series. The Sacred Stones didn't do anything surprising, but it's also proof that you don't need original ideas as long as what you have is well executed. The story follows a similar template to Shadow Dragon, but it uses strong characters to make for an interesting story. The ideas it brought back to the series were well handled and set the standard for many Fire Emblem games that were soon to come. The infinite battle potential and vast amount of resources are a welcome change in the Fire Emblem formula. But let's not forget to pay respects to the one that introduced Fire Emblem players to those concepts at all. Number 4. Gaiden. Gaiden truly is an enigma. I really shouldn't like this game as much as I do. It's slow, confusing, and tedious. And if it weren't for the remake, it definitely wouldn't be this high on the list. But there was something about Gaiden that really clicked with me upon first playing it. I fell in love with the freedom this game allows for. The world map was awesome, and the dungeon exploration was something unique that set this game apart from the rest of the series. Everyone will have a different approach for getting through this game. It's far from a flawless gem, but one that shines bright in spite of that. Number 3. The Blazing Blade. It's been rather surprising to see the fanbase turn around on this game recently. Personally, I think it's still a really fun game. I think the characters are awesome, and I think there's a lot of management to be done. And the mission variety keeps the gameplay fresh over every playthrough I do. Of course, I won't deny that bias plays a huge role in this game's ranking. I know as well as anyone else that it's not perfect, but it was still my first Fire Emblem at the end of the day. And for that reason alone, it will always hold a special place in my heart. Number 2. Path of Radiance. While the next game we will talk about is my favorite Fire Emblem game, Path of Radiance is the only game that's been able to successfully challenge it. Sometimes I do actually wonder if this is my favorite Fire Emblem. The story of this game is truly excellent. It's a fairly basic setup of boy meets girl and fights to win back the continent. But it truly is a character-driven game. Some have called out Ike for being boring, but I still think that he's an amazing character that really grows up on his journey, even if he doesn't realize it himself. Even the minor party members get a lot of focus, and the dialogue is so refined. Hardcore fans of the series often say it's too easy, but I always found the difficulty to be just right. And yes, I am surprisingly bad at a series I've been consistently playing for the last 5 years. If only the game speed was just a little faster, then I'd have no trouble replaying it again and again. And number 1. Awakening. And surprising no one that's kept up with the retrospective, my favorite game in the series is of course none other than Fire Emblem Awakening. People have pulled no punches in discussing why Awakening probably isn't the best game ever made, including myself. That being said, I still love this game so much. Awakening holds a lot of value for me in just being a really fun game. There's a reason I have more than 400 hours of this game logged between all of my 3DSs. It's a game I can pick up at any time and enjoy it without any strings attached. It may not be the best game in the series, but it's without a doubt my favorite. I probably will never do another video series as long and as involved as the Fire Emblem retrospective. But it'd be a shame not to try, right? So guess what? I'm going to keep doing them. I've had so much fun playing every entry of a game series, analyzing their strengths, and how they've evolved over time. Oh, and don't you worry. The Fire Emblem retrospective will continue one day. As long as Intelligent Systems keeps making these games, I'll keep making videos. But obviously we don't know when the next Fire Emblem game is going to come out. So until then, I do want to take a small break from the idea and work on some other videos that I've been sitting on for a while. Though I will say that by the time the Chris the Fields retrospectives return, it may even be before 2020 is through. And as it turns out, I think I know the series I want to cover next time. So when we return to the Chris the Fields retrospective format, it'll be for a series that is absolutely legendary. And no, it's not a Legend of Zelda retrospective. I want to clear that up now, because people know I'm a big Zelda fan, and I might have been leading you on to believe I was doing The Legend of Zelda, but that's not true. Not going to be doing that. There's plenty out there already for Zelda. I'm going to be going elsewhere. It's Mega Man Legends! We're going to talk about Mega Man Legends.